Escrima separately. In other words, Escrima is a complete different fighting. It incorporates knife and stick. That's Escrima means fencing. That's the Spanish word for fencing. All right? So it's as simple as that. Many of the techniques, when people see me do it, they say, damn, that looks like fencing. That's what Escrima is. It's fencing. Now, what we're doing is we'll be using sticks, but the stick simulates a blade. First thing is, the edge weapon always comes first. In other words, I'd rather have a blade that cuts than what? A stick that breaks bones. The knife is always superior. But now, does that make the stick any inferior? Number one is, Magellan was killed by what? With Filipinos using sticks. This is recorded in history. He went over there and he's wearing armor and he's got swords and all this, yet he's killed with stick fighters. All right, so the stick is what? It's deadly. Number two is the most famous swordsman of all time in Japan, Miyamoto Musashi, did what? Preferred a bokken, a wooden sword, over the real sword. If anybody's read your history or anything like this. So he had more kills with a wooden sword than the real sword. So we're just showing that a stick properly used can destroy. All right? Now, when I teach empty-handed techniques, there are some empty-handed techniques within Escrima, but the preference is the weapon. In other words, why should I want to be worried about empty-hand techniques if I have a blade or if I have a stick? You see what we're talking about? Now, if I lose that, then we use empty-handed techniques. But the martial art is primary. I know you see today, you'll read about other Escrima schools using a lot of empty-handed techniques. The empty-handed techniques mainly are borrowed from other systems, from Chinese systems and so forth. So when I start talking about empty-handed technique, I now teach Hindi-Andi. Hindi-Andi is a Chinese system, like we just told you. So that is what I normally incorporate. I teach them two separately. Now, the student can mix them any way he wants to. When I do Hindi-Andi, there's one thing I do that is unique to Hindi-Andi. Hindi-Andi never taught a vertical punch. Guess what I do now when I teach Hindi-Andi? If the vertical punch is superior, now I'll use a vertical. Once in a while you see me use, because traditionally he uses a twist punch. So sometimes you see me throw a twist punch, but I now have the vertical punch in Hindi-Andi. All right? So we're going to be jumping back and forth between Hindi-Andi and Escrima, so that we don't get bored just with here. Okay? So now we're going to need a little space here. Everybody got a stick? Now you put your lead. If you're right-handed, the right foot should be forward. All right? If you're left, then it's just the opposite. How many lefties we got here? Okay, we got to put you. You lefties? Okay, all the lefties got to go on a different deal. So you don't. Oh, you don't care? Oh, well, I'm just saying, if we got one guy swinging over here and everybody else is swinging on the right, it doesn't work too good. Okay, you're the only one, but you're going to go right. Right? Okay, that makes it so much simpler. So the thing is, you want your lead. Now, there are many different branches of Escrima. Some of them, like many of them, as you see, will choke up on the stick. Let's just try it. Just hold up, choke up on it. What it does, this extra weight counterbalances. It's easier to move and all that, all right? So this is one type of system. I don't like this. I prefer to hold it toward the end. I'm just showing you. In other words, there's a reason for it. Okay, I prefer to hold it as close to the end as possible. Just like if I grabbed a sword, I would never catch a sword up here. So we use reach. So the system that we're teaching is largo mano. Largo mano means, largo just means long hand, long range. So I want reach. So now we just say, if you choke up on this thing right here, if you choke up here and we're both thrusting, but now if you held it toward the end here, you have the superior reach. So, but you're choking up on it, so now all of a sudden you no longer have. So that's why we don't choke up. I'm giving you who's the highest and what, all right? So that's what the heck we want. So we want reach. So remember this. The left hand, where does it go? It goes over the heart. Not up here, the heart, that is, the solar plexus. Go right over the solar plexus. Not up here. There's bone, sternum. There's bone, right here. That's the heart. The heart, you take your fist, just put it right in the middle of your chest, right there. Right there where the solar, slightly above, right near the sternum. That's the heart. That's where you're exactly the size, about the size of your fist there. All right? So now we're going to protect it. Why are we putting our hand here? Number one is if I thrust, if your hand is open, leave it open, big target. There we go, put it flat. If I thrust and I'm penetrating, I have a sword or a knife. Now if you pull, the odds are I won't get the heart, right? In other words, if you're stabbing me here, I pull my hand away like here, this is embedded in here, I don't get a heart shot. So we're protecting the heart. right? There we go, keep it open here. Okay, now, so this is it. Now we're going to start warming up a little bit here. Now we move. You want to be able, like bamboo. Bamboo, we move forward and back. You see here? Just move back and forth. There. Forward, back. There you go. And at the same time we're warming up. Now, this is giving us range. In other words, we can thrust, retreat, thrust. See? Something like Tai Chi, right? Very soft right now. We're just warming up here. There you go. Start off slow. There we go. Now, how do we hold the weapon? Number one is we want to hold the weapon. We want to hold it like a hammer. Just think it like you. How would you hammer? Bam, bam, bam. There we go. You don't put the thumb on top. A lot of people will put the thumb up here. A fencer's grip. This is called a fencer's grip. We don't do a fencer's grip. We're doing fencing. Why aren't we doing a fencing grip? If we look at a fencer's grip used in the foil, anybody take any type of fencing? Okay? When you're holding a small handle, which your ipes, your foils and all that, they were very small, then it's okay. But when we hold a big stick like this, take your thumb like that. Just put it like that. Now, just bring your weapon out. Watch. See how it pulls away? You don't want that, you see? If you've got your thumb on here, and I move here, it's already disarmed. So now grip it like a hammer. Now if I try the same, watch. Okay? So now you understand. Because many people say, oh, we'll use a fencer's grip. Even though this is fencing, this is the Filipino style of fencing and not what? European, although some things interact. Okay, so that's where we want to hold it. Now you move it back and forth. Here, work the wrist. Just bring it back and forth. There we go. Now, don't let it pull back. You don't want to go back here. There's nobody behind here. So you take, point to the deck. See here, in front of the toe. Up, down, up, down, up, down. Just like a hammer. Okay? Now, blade. Again, we're using sticks. We're simulating what? A blade. Okay? So when I say the cutting edge should be on the bottom, just like here. So that's what the heck we're doing. What's the difference between if I have a stick or if I have a blade? If I have a stick, I'm going to hard targets. Anywhere where there's a bone. The wrist, back of the hand, like here. The temple, bridge of nose. You all know all the targets, right? If I've got a blade, then I want to go to softer targets. I want to cut the tendons right here. I want to cut the large muscles. I want to cut the inner forearm here, under the armpit, throat, stomach area, groin, femur arteries, all that good stuff. Now, can they interchange? Of course. In other words, this is if I have a stick and I hit you hard enough, then I'll probably hurt you. If I have enough weight within the stick, so I can hit anywhere. But there are preferred targets. If I have a light knife, now the length. If I have a short knife, it's the same thing. The same cuts will be going to the tendons and all this, and large muscles. All right? So now, we're cutting right back here. Oh, what we're doing, we're simulating we're going to be smashing this guy like in the groin, under the head, on top of the head right here. Whether it's a stick or a blade, it's the same way. Just like here. That's all you're doing, moving up and down your target. Like here. In sparring, whether it's karate or whether it's Escrima, which they now have matches with what? Sticks. It is the number of hits that count. Isn't that what sport is? In other words, I go over here and I got you. 1 point. 2 points. 3 points. I chop off the head. I only get 1 point. You get 3 points. You wound me. You cut my arm. You see what I mean? You cut my chest. You cut my leg. You get 3 points. I chop off your head. I only get 1 point. I lose. In combat, it is not the number of hits. It is the first killing blow. So when we hit him, we want to do it with enthusiasm. All right? There's the difference between sport. And so today, many of the Escrimas today are sport-oriented. So now, the number of points. If I can, you see, and by countering here, I can hit you 12 times. That does not work in actual combat.